Welcome to the Dan Bradbury podcast. This is not Bradbury, but he is on. This is the first time you and I have done a podcast together. I've guest hosted your podcast before when you were unavailable and stuck in a well, but this is the first time that you and I have actually done a tag team podcast. Is that right?
So we'll see how it goes. It might be the last time as well.
I think so. Well, listen, if if it is, it's because I'm firing you from your own podcast because we're going to strive to make this a more regular, published, often thing. And you struggle, like many business owners do, in actually just getting your ass into the chair to sit you down and actually do the podcast. So hopefully by having me guest host, your listeners will have a little bit more of regularity and predictability to know when you're going to tune in. But we'll see how that
in
goes.
My
so
defense,
Dan and I, for those
in
of you,
my defense, Topher,
yeah,
right.
In your very weak, feeble defense, yes.
I feel that I should have special credit because what people don't even realize is we've been on this podcast for 4 years, just with technical problems.
We have. Well, okay, but see, when you say technical problems, you by technical you mean Dan Bradbury problems.
So we're not going to reference the fact that I tested 4 different microphones with you telling me they're all terrible. It was a problem. Is that
no. That was just the last time. No, that was after we finally decided to go back to mic number 2, and then I decided to go pee. So I walked outside of my Bluetooth range, probably a good thing, by the way, but then it got disconnected. So I will take the hit on the very last one. Yes. But before that, it was a comedy of errors getting you to plug in your microphones. One stand holds one mic, the other hand. And so this is why, by the way, for those of you who are watching this podcast and you are looking at Dan's weird posture, it's because I think he's propping his microphone up in between some books or something, and the cable is too short. So he's leaning over like this. Maybe I should lean over like you, and we could do the same and have the same look, and then people will just think that they're crooked when they're watching the video. All right, let's get in. Wait, 30 minutes? Yes, let's do this. I've been so to give the listeners and the viewers a little bit of a background. You and I share one thing in common, which is our love for reading. I think you are the only person I know that reads more than I do. And I'm probably the only person that you know that reads close to what you do. I still probably don't read as many as you just by the very fact that I'm not that fast, but I am definitely an avid reader. So we share books all the time. And I'm going to get to the book title here in a second, but it sparked this whole conversation that you and I were having about taxes. And then I started digging into it a little bit deeper, and then I started realizing just how many people are screwing up not just their companies, but their entire lives, their families, their friends, and everything by just trying to save a few dollars here and a few dollars there, or a few pounds here and a few pounds there on taxes. And there seems to be like a real interesting like phenomenon that people think it's okay to just cheat on their taxes. And I get that we business owners should never have to pay more than what we're obligated to do, right? But it seems like people interpret that as I'm going to try to take every possible shortcut imaginable to avoid paying anything. And it's like they almost build their business model around avoiding the tax issue. But at some point in time, you have to kind of come up with the notion and the acceptance that the government's going to get part of your money because you want to be able to make money. So like there's this guy in Muskego, Matthew, that's the state attorney. This guy, he's gone to prison now for 5 months because he tried avoiding paying $89,000. That was it. And then there's another dude that's going to prison for 5 years, owes more than 2.1 million, and he's the franchisor of a famous bagel company, New York Bagels. Just because they get greedy. So I want to talk about several things here today. Number one, how to avoid paying unnecessary taxes. but like, I want to talk about like the mind of the entrepreneur. Like, why do you think we are so hell bent on trying to pay as little taxes as possible to the detriment of our own lives and our own careers? This is time for you to talk so I can sip my kratom drink.
There's two significant reasons. I think there's the first one is like a pro and a con. The first one is net for most business, the single entity that gets the largest proportion of revenue is the taxman. So the IRS and the US, HMRC,
yes.
and the UK. If you do the maths and you kind of go, okay, for £100 of cash received, that registered business, £17 of the 83, you know, if you got somebody's payroll, 20%, that might be up. You know, it's not uncommon for it to be 30, 40, 50 pence before it gets into the business owner's pocket.
Yes. By the way, for those listening that are, for those that are listening on the US, VAT registered simply means that the company is producing enough revenue that they have to register for their VAT. I forget what VAT stands for, but I think it's like
sales tax.
What is it? If you do more than 80
value-added tax.
Sales tax, yeah, value-added tax. But it's I think it's if you do more than what, 80,000 pounds a year.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yes. So anyway, VAT registered just means you're making enough that you have to pay a sales tax. Go for it. All right, keep going. So yes, in the UK, you guys lose about 40% of your money to the tax man, woman. We probably have less than that.
You do. I mean, it's, again, actually, disclaimer. We're now talking about tax, and I'm quite famous in my circles. Yes. So all of my members know this. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a tax advisor. I'm not.
Yep.
Get your own advice. This is just shooting the breeze based upon experience.
Yes.
Like, I think a lawyer like crying at the end of the phone right now, just trying to stop this live broadcast. So
stop giving tax advice. Yeah.
It's not advice. Stories and experience. You definitely everybody's circumstances is different. Blah blah blah. Disclaimer away.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's such a large proportion. So yeah, like I want to mitigate. I want to save that because an incremental can make a big difference in my take home. But it's got a good saying. I don't know where it's from originally. Don't let the tail wag the business dog. Right.
Yes.
So the second reason is business owners are making decisions. The major, they're kind of obsessed with mitigating the tax. Why don't we just run a damn good business? Like, have a beast that makes money, and then it's the icing on the cake to go, okay, now let's do some good tax plan.
Agreed. I think far too many people waste more, like if they would spend the same amount of energy trying to avoid paying taxes as they did just trying to increase their profit, they would have more than enough to pay their taxes and still have more than if they focused on avoiding the taxes as well, right? But here's what sparked this conversation, by the way. You and I, I was reading a book, and the book is by Greg Crabtree. It's called Simple Numbers, Straight Talk, Big Profits. And I was reading this book all on my own, by the way. Nobody forced me to read a financial book, which for those of you who don't know, Dan is the financial master of business. I am not. Anything I'm learning on money and finances, like I am the business owner who has for many years and now realized the errors of my ways, gone, oh, I'm not a numbers guy. I just hand that over to the accountant. The bookkeepers handle all that for me. And Dan has been the one who's got me to appreciate the value of actually being much more diligent in my money. So I'm trying to be the good entrepreneur, read books about numbers and balance sheets. And so we started reading this book, and the book, the guy is an accountant, by the way. He recommended that all of his clients are on run their accounting on a cash basis, not an accrual basis, which I just find, well, let me clarify and jump in here anytime, Dan. he says that he wants all of his clients on a cash basis, but then he goes on to talk about all of the exceptions for who shouldn't be on a cash basis. And I think that's kind of dangerous, because I think people don't remember the exceptions. They just remember the advice tip. Anyway, so and maybe we should even talk about that in terms of why people try to run their business on a cash basis versus accrual basis. But I don't know. But the topic is a little bit about tax. What say you?
Yeah, I mean,
by the way, I'm drinking.
in a
Put a
nutshell,
plug for
batshit crazy.
my favorite kava shop here. I'm drinking my kratom drink from Kava Culture, a company which I'm going to get Dan hyped up on kratom next week when he flies out here. Our next podcast will be live in studio, by the way. And I'm going to make sure that I get him hyped up on as much kratom as possible before the show begins. All right, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Side note, I was reading up on kratom, but if you have too much, it's a sedative. So a small amount is a stimulant, but too much is a sedative. Look forward to indulging in kratom. And also not having the weird delay that we use. If I don't know, just me.
Yeah, but anyway, really, really stupid delay.
To the point, I'm where are we getting? The principle is educated, right? I mean, cash versus like if you're not doing accrual, you're not getting a. How do you make good decisions? Right. Well, cash, without getting too much into the industry, is more reflective of what's actually going on in your business. So if you're making based upon assumptions of the timing of the cash, you can make some really, really flawed. Here's an example, Topher. So let's say if you're a really shitty business, I've got a really shitty business. Let's say you sell pens, right? In January of the year, you buy 100 pens at £1 a pop. You have no other expenses, so your revenue is zero. Your expenses are 100. You made £100 of a loss of £100. In month 2, you then sell the pounds at £2, and you have.
Yep.
So on a cash basis, you've got revenue of zero. Therefore, you've made a profit of 200. Right? And there's no other transactions to muddy the water. A bad business coach would come in and go, "Hey, look, whatever you do in January, that's stupid. Don't do that crap. Just do what you do in February repeatedly, and we'll make loads of money." And clearly, that's ludicrous. That's the kind of basis when people make decisions based on accounts done on cash. Like they've just somebody looks super profitable because they've just deferred paying anybody. They haven't paid any tax. Just, I feel like I need a special tribute. Really talking about my personal tax affairs. And I want to today, specifically today, this morning, accountant basically because I needed buttering up because today I picked the single largest in tax HMR, and not for VAT, for corporation tax and personal profit, and it was enough of an eye-watering sum that I kind of needed a pep talk. Like, are you sure? Are you sure this bill needed paying? But if my accounts were on a cash basis, you'd be looking. And then also when you pay this massive, well, 6 figures, number out, it's like all of a sudden it looks like a train wreck, right? Just because I paid a bill that was actually for earned last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cash basis. The way to remember is cash basis is failures.
Yeah, but I also think that, I mean, that's one reason. But the other reason is that it just, I can't tell you how many people I've seen, and this happened in the pandemic, by the way. This is a great example of this. People that were operating on a cash basis, they got the revenue in, money. Then the pandemic hit. Then all of a sudden they had a massive influx of customers going, "I want my money back," because you A, can't deliver, or B, I can't receive. And all of a sudden there were companies that foolishly went out and spent the money before they actually technically earned it. And then their business is literally out of business overnight because they had to refund way more than they had at the bank. And that's something, especially in my business, and you're similar, right? Where we deliver a service, but we get paid up front. But sometimes that service might be over 3 months or 6 months or a year or something like that. I am, if one thing I've learned from you, Dan, is to be, I mean, I am religious about never, ever spending money in my company until I have earned that money. I have a separate account called my accrual account. All my payments go in there. And then I transfer the money out of the accrual account into my OPEX account. But I only do that after I have delivered those. And I will tell you, man, I can sleep so much better because literally, if I had all my clients tomorrow call up and go, "Yep, I'm canceling all my services. I want all my, my," because they'll pay a year in advance or something. I could refund all of their money today with no drama, wouldn't lose a bit of sleep. And I learned that from you, my friend.
Thank you. Well, in a nutshell, say education. Like, I'm not a fan of some of the things that he does, but like, Robert it kind of financial literacy. Most people,
yeah,
like if you like money, if you like money, learn to understand it. Learn to understand how it works. Yeah. And most people haven't got a clue, so they make poor choices that in the ass because they spend money that's not there.
Yeah,
they overpay or underpay taxes. Either way is bad because either way it's going to hurt. So mm-hmm. You've got to get. You have to get yourself educated. A different thing from an emotional context, Topher. There is so much stress, so much outrageous levels of stress. Life itself can be tough enough. Being a business owner can be tough enough. You don't need to add the stress and the drama of getting shocked and surprised because you've got wages and people blame it on the tax man. It was caused, the root cause is because they made decisions based on flawed data because they need to read the numbers.
100%. I think my guess is this, that the stress that people incur from learning how to master their numbers is still less than the stress they incur from bad decisions by not knowing their numbers, right? And I say that because I've been there in the past and I still struggle comparatively to you. Like I honestly, Dan, I mean, not trying to blow, because God knows I have much more joy in my life when I'm insulting you than when I'm complimenting you. But to compliment you, I am blown away at the level of knowledge that you have with regard to being able to look at a spreadsheet and understand the meaning behind it. And then also how that can provide good advice for your clients on what they should be doing in the future. I am blown away at your ability to do that. I'm not there yet. Like I still struggle when I stare at a spreadsheet, but I'm learning to muster through it. But you, dude, are at a completely different level of expertise than most people I've ever met. And I include a lot of.
Can I tell you a story from today?
So is the story going to be an insult of me?
No,
because we've been far too kind to one another on this podcast so far. We need to step up our insult game, I'd say.
Well, I mean, I think everybody listening knows that you're only here to make me look good, so I think we'll be just fine. So the story from today, right? Actually, let me go back first. So I've just cost somebody the sale of their business, my reading of numbers. I'll tell you what happened, but let me go back first. Here's how important I think it is, Topher. My early business career, so going back in the mid-noughties, I quickly built a business to kind of mid-six-figure profit, by most people's standards, quote unquote, successful. But then I'm obsessed with marketing. How do I get the traction? How do I sell the thing? And just to the nature of the industry, there was healthy margins, so there was money. Now, I just knew how to drive a profitable kind of business sector. And I plateaued. When I came across Keith Cunningham, who's still a mentor of mine to this day, and he was the one that really forced financial literacy upon me. Which, by the way, Topher, I've got a belief that you're only as strong as your weakest link. It was shit hot, he says humbly, marketing point of view in those days. I was very weak at financials, but as soon as I learned as soon as I committed, it transformed everything, right? Months, because I went to Keith Cunningham with my business plan and said, right, I'm going to double my revenue in the next 12 months. And he took one look at it and went, well, that's fucking stupid. Right? By the way, I will say off the record, since
we're clearly on the record. We are clearly live, yes.
So I trust these media enough to catch me in this. So I put this books. I think it was, I don't know if it was Turn Over His Vanity or whether his house, but one of my books. And Keith vetoed it. And I wasn't able to print the book, the swearing out. But definitely swore, right? So he swore. So he said that.
He did. I was going to ask you, did he actually say you're fucking stupid?
Oh yeah. He hasn't got a relationship like you and I. He's not like jovial. He's just downright. He's just blunt. It's like, you know, it needs to be hammered into my head, I think has been his approach. So,
by the way, let's take a second and plug his book, because he wrote his latest Less Stupid is hands down one of the best books for business owners to read, especially in startup mode. The Road Less Stupid, and it does show his bluntness. By the way, I love it.
Oh, it's a great book. Books are great. I bought them all.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. He said, why don't you just increase your profit? And in the next 12 months, I did actually double my revenue, but I trebled my profit. But he kind of showed me that I was obsessed with thinking that boxing hammer. So I figured everything else was right. That was the only tool that I had. And then I can't even tell you how much more money I've made. It's been easily worth multiple seven figures to my net worth over time because of, I mean, if you want, like, you know how to play the game. And most people are just naive. Anyway, so to the story today. So a client comes and I've not asked permission, so I can't say any details about the type of business. All I'll say is the client's been successful, been in the program a few years, and multi-seven-figure revenues, sold high six-figure profits, strong balance sheet, you know, good. And so naturally, he got to the size where I said, I'm going to say Dave to make sure that I don't accidentally say his name. So I said, Dave, I start seeking out acquisitions. And he found one business that he got to the point where he even tentatively made an offer that had not been rejected. So it looked like this offer. And then he comes to me on today's call. I'm excited. I found a better business to buy. I said, okay, show me the IM, the information memorandum, for those that don't know, because it was for sale by a broker. I looked at the IM, looked at it, and I went, let's just get to the meaty stuff. It's like a document. And I went, let's just get page 16, you know, there's some balance sheet for multiple years, side by side. And within 5 minutes, I just went, well, the specific comment, he was like, I don't understand. And Dave is pretty. And I went, oh yeah, no, it just looks like they're doing blah blah blah. And I think I said something like this: that this company is going downhill. They're pretty up their accounts, and actually they've just avoided taking dividends, make it look stronger. But actually, this is a train wreck. Don't touch. And he went, that's why you're on this. And he's like, how do you see that? It's because, well, when you see enough, you know, in mastermind, like if you get businesses, you know, for 10, 15 years, like accounts, you just get to see patterns and trends. And the balance sheet was gradually going down. The to crap, the dividends had gone down, right? Because the of hurt, and it was basically propped up. And that's the kind of thing you can only get financially literate from looking at the numbers, and yet people go, that's an accounting thing. No, it's not. It's a business thing. Topher cares more about your money than you do. So ultimately, Dave came to the conclusion, actually, that I'm not going to buy that business, which is the person who's trying to sell that business is going to, because it's, or he's going to take advantage.
Well, or
financially
Yeah,
illiterate.
he'll take advantage of somebody else. Yeah, he'll find somebody who doesn't know any better, and they'll look at the bottom line, and they won't look at the stuff in between, and they'll end up buying. By the way, that happens all the time. People buy businesses that they think are really good because they look at the P&L, they look at the balance sheet, they go, "Oh, this is a great one," but they don't look at the process behind that, and I'm getting in trouble. By the way, you casually just threw out the term mastermind. So for those listening and those watching, Dan actually operates and runs a mastermind for founder CEOs of small businesses that they meet on a quarterly basis in person together, and also have one-on-ones. This is the one-on-one you were talking about in the story. And if you want to learn more about that, you can go to danbradbury.com. I'll plug you because I know you won't. So yeah, go check out danbradbury.com, and dude, read the testimonials and the case studies of his clients. It's insane. What do you have? Like you have I'm trying to remember what the ROI was. Let's see if I can find it on your website. I've got it open right now because you've got like an insane level of ROI with your clients that join your mastermind. Do you know what it is off the top of your head?
I mean, we track it every quarter. I mean, on a quarterly basis, hovers 3% on the first-year clients, but 1,000%.
Yeah.
So, but to be specific, careful, Topher, because I want to be clear. That's not guaranteed. Disclaimer.
Sure.
But it's based upon their investment in Mastermind as a ratio of the income in the subsequent year.
By the way,
back
to this. I'll finish that thought, and then I'll go on my rant.
It's okay. I forgot. I think it was. There's good tools in the program. But we're also very good. So for disclosure, like it's a very large part is I select who can join the mastermind program in the I select businesses to invest. I'm very good at recognizing somebody's got going to work. Like if it's not too egotistical. Unfortunate that to take this isn't. Oh, we'll take anybody who's got a checkbook.
Yeah.
No. I've got people in my program for 10 years. I've got multiple people, 6-figure revenues to 8-figure revenues and multi-7-figure profits. So we're at a stage where we're selecting who comes in. So that's, that why people get returns so good, because I'm good at spotting the people who have got a solid business but are weak, where I in the business are strong. In their weakest area and see it compound to the bottom.
Yeah. I'm looking at the numbers right now. Your Success Mastermind has an average ROI of 1,142%. Average, not results are common, right? But when you start when you start looking at what are the averages, I mean that is the average. It's impressive. And I will tell you, by the way, I've been to your mastermind. I've seen your clients. I've heard them raving about you. So while you may be humble about it, I don't mind bragging about you, brother. I'm blown away at the results that you produce with your clients. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's insane the kind of results that you're producing with your crowds. But anyway, dude, we're coming here toward the end. So I wanted to. Oh, by the way, I just thought, like when you were talking, I just got a new case. My books just came in. By the way, I don't know how weird it is, but no matter how many times I've opened up a case of my books, it's still cool. So when I get off, I'm going to open up my case of my books. That was a little subtle plug for my book. But talking about this guy's book, I don't know that I like this book or if I hate this book right now.
This sounds contrived, like too contrived, because that sounds.
Yeah.
For those listening, I didn't happen, so that isn't itself. What book have you written? Several books. And I don't want the picture.
No, this is my latest one. Yeah, I'm going to open up right now because I can. My public speaking book.
Oh, great!
There we go. Put it on camera. Yeah, I just got another case in because I'm speaking. I've got. I think it's like the first 2 days in September or something. I'm going out to speak to Rowan University, to their entrepreneurship center. And there's like these kids that have qualified for this accelerator. And so I'm going out for 2 days to work with them, and I'm going to give them my book as a gift. So I ordered a case of them. Anyway. All right. So I don't know if I like this book or I hate it. Simple Numbers, Straight Talk, Big Profits by Greg Crabtree. I'm definitely going to leave him a mixed review in Amazon, because I find that the man spends so many times making these generalized comments and then goes in to talk about all of the exceptions for why that comment that he made isn't true. Like the one about, I recommend all my clients are on cash accounting unless, and then he goes through like the majority of clients. So I don't know that I like it or not. You've read Simple Numbers, Straight Talk, Big Profits, right?
Yeah, I have. It was a while ago. I mean, it's funny. Everybody wants the one book, right? Because he sounds just like a typical accountant to me, Topher, right? So he's like they got the principle, and then there's all all the exceptions to the rule. And I mean, I'll throw out a few books off the top of my head, but people go, "Oh, like is that one book?" And like, it reminds me of the Charlie Munger quote. Who says, "I've never met any wise man that doesn't read, like not a single one." And so if you're a man, if you're a woman, if you are, you just because I mean, I could say Keith Cunningham's most financial book is The Ultimate Blueprint for an Insanely Successful Business. I could say Profit First by Mike
Brilliant book.
I could say Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Brilliant book.
I could say Naked Finance is another one. I could bookshelf. I could probably Romancing the Balance Sheet, another fantastic one. I mean, there's 4 or 5 off the top of my head. Another 5 that would get strong recommendations if I went up or down, in this room or in my library. You're gonna go, and then you go, well, which one's the best? It's kind of like, I want to be healthy. What should I? What correct? So that's why really the only true best or most valuable one is the commitment to mastery. The most valuable investment is the investment in yourself. And I think if you want to build wealth, like you need to fall in love with if building wealth equates to and income, then like you need to speak the language, which is accounting, my friend. And I'm not an accountant.
Yeah.
The nuances of tax, but people act like it's a separate thing. But really, that's telling you how to operate a business, how to make these decisions. So virtually synonymous, and I think avoid it to their significant debt.
Yeah. I have been ripping on this book a little bit, but I'm gonna say some things that I did like about it. I got 2 quotes that I really enjoyed. One was he said, he talked about milking the cash cow, right? Your company should be a cash cow. And he goes, your goal is to keep the cow healthy so you can milk it every day, or you can have a one-off barbecue. and I loved that. It was a great analogy where if people are just focusing on revenue, well, they might be able to have a good barbecue one day, but they ain't going to be able to milk it every day. And then I love the other analogy. He said, profit is like oxygen. Your business cannot hold its breath very long without it. And if people would, and this is me talking now and you talking, like if people would spend more time focusing on how to increase their profits than they would how to avoid paying taxes, they would probably be able to enjoy a lot better quality of life and not run the risk of actually going to jail, which should be a good thing as well. Listen, we've hit our 30 minutes. Dan, I know you've got to get going. For those of you who are interested in his mastermind, if you'd like to apply, it's not a at one come all. It is exclusive program. He's got 2 different levels, 3, I guess, if you consider your private consultants. But you can go to danbradbury.com and check out his mastermind and look at some of the results, read some of the case studies. You're going to start hearing a lot more regular podcasts coming out of Dan, and hopefully I'll be on them as well. We got to figure out how to get this damn delay. I'm assuming it must be something to do with your internet speed. So hopefully tomorrow, when you have the new super fast gleaming Wi-Fi, we won't have as much of a weird delay, and we'll have a lot more cool conversations and talk about a lot more cool books and rip on other ones. So any last words, Dan?
Look forward to seeing you in Tampa. No, my friend, and I look forward to putting out some. The guys listening, please let us know. What do you want to hear? Do you want to talk about mergers and acquisitions? Do you want to talk about selling your business? Do you want to talk about, how to drive margins? Do you have any tax problems? Again, we're not tax advisors, but the problem with accountants is they only give you accounting advice, commercial business advice, or commercial different way. Like, do you hire a former tax inspector to help you negotiate with HMRC? Is it like a minor thing inside the tax content? So yeah, I just say that to be the thing, your own voice. But I do love facilitating good content. It is interesting to be told that in Mastermind you get to hear so many great stories of people that have built amazing.
Yeah.
The most powerful stories are the mistakes that people made, so you can avoid the pitfalls.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, right? Let's learn from other people's mistakes so we don't have to make them ourselves. All right. Dan, thank you for getting on the, well, I don't know why I'm thanking you for getting on your own podcast. But anyway, thank you for being on your own podcast.
Painful getting me here. Yeah. No, yes. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. I'll be in Tampa next week.
Yeah, cheers. All right, buddy. All right, well, let's sign off. Until next time, let's all try a little harder to be a little better. Have a good one. Bye.